Freedom's the answer. What's the question? You're listening to Ernest Hancock.
Don't stop me now. I'm having such a good time. I'm having a ball. Don't stop me now. If you want to have a good time, just give me a call. Don't stop me now. I'm having a good time.
Yeah, we're having a good time here on Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, and we're doing a series, and all the great speakers are going to be at the Freedom Summit, freedomsummit.com, which includes Gary Franchi. Now, Gary is going to start off Sunday on, it's kind of anarchist day, but we're going to go ahead and have, people that can use the political process to advocate for whatever the heck it is that they want. And one of the great tools for that, in addition to freedomsphoenix.com, is RTR.org from Restore the Republic. Gary Franchi, he's helping us out with that. And I want to make sure that everybody understands what it is that it does. It is another social network created by Gary and friends to make sure that we have one more arrow in the quiver. Now, one of the things that Gary is going to be focusing on is Congress, local and state issues and so on, but it's how would I use your service because you're wanting to have the ability for a call to action. We're going to do some action and activities, and it's nice to be able to, plaster a whole bunch of people with a phone number that they can make use of. How would they make use of that? And what kind of things are you looking forward to do in legislation you're going to be supporting?
Well, if PatriotResponse.com, that's our fax blasting service. We have a series of campaigns that, right now, one of them is, like I mentioned earlier, was the Ron Paul bill, the Restoring Dignity to Airline Travel bill, and we're also working on. We have a whole bunch of campaigns. Read the Bills Act from Downsize DC, oppose S510, the Food Safety Bill. We're also working to oppose S1619, the Livable Communities Act. If you hit our campaigns page, you'll find all the information that you need on these specific bills and where we stand and how you can send a fax blast to Congress right away. That's just one aspect of these new tools that we have created to give people another weapon to get their voice out and fight the loss of freedom in this country.
The Federal Reserve, is that going to be as big an issue? One thing that we noticed here at Arizona State University when Dr. Paul was talking is that, you didn't get the "in the Fed" chant going. I mean, every now and then we kind of start a little bit, and it seemed like people are kind of, we went down that road, we tried it, we know they're scum, and, go beat up Bernanke and committee, and we'll see what happens. Do you see that as a big issue going into this next congressional cycle? And we have his son in the Senate, so there's got to be some opportunities there. What are we going to be looking at?
Well, I'm hoping that there will be another introduction of an audit the Fed bill that we can get behind. Philadelphia just had a huge End the Fed rally. I got a report from Jordan Page just a couple of days ago. He called me up. He was really excited. They had a float. They went through the street. There were hundreds of people, and they were playing music, and they were getting people excited about ending the Federal Reserve. They had no police interference. They had no permits. They just went ahead and did it. They took a float through the streets, and Jordan was playing on the float. And I think that the Federal Reserve issue is going to stay in the frontal lobe of the American people because, we keep seeing in the news reports, more stimulus, more bailouts, more this, more that. And I don't think the American people are going to stand for it once they see the prices of their goods and services continue to rise and the value of the dollar continue to drop. So while you may have seen what appeared to be a petering out of an End the Fed sort of back, motivation at your rally, it just takes. It takes a lot of people continually pushing the End the Fed message out there. Ron Paul out, in Congress, Rand in the Senate. And what they need to do is reintroduce another audit the Fed bill so we can get behind it. See, if they don't, here's the thing. If there's not, what really inspired the bailout, what really inspired the End the Fed actions was these bailouts. And they were all over the news. And since we don't hear as much of it, it still comes up, but it still seems sort of like it's a past tense issue. So it's up to us to continue to drive it home, to continue to get behind bills that Ron introduces, and not forget about what's going going on over there at the Federal Reserve.
I'm concerned that we have so many issues. There are so many things that are of great importance, and we can get distracted by a lot of shiny objects and things that are going on, and we forget things about like war. We forget about things like inflation and the Federal Reserve, and this TSA thing is so representative of a lot of things. My main concern with this is when you have a society that allows or thinks that we need to be scanned with radiation, every single person that's flying, or which is eventually what it's going to come down to. It's like a bad B sci-fi movie. And then we also have, they're going to inconvenience you or embarrass you into going through the radiation by, squeezing on you. And I'm going, it's not so much if I had the ability to contract with a private entity, like I want to fly on X Airlines, all right, it's cheaper or more expensive, whatever. I decide how much security I want. If I want to get on Flying Die Airlines and they want to issue my 9mm because I forgot mine or something like that, I want that option. These are not the issues that aren't discussed. It's only Dr. Paul that's bringing up, hey, make the carrier responsible for his cargo and passengers. What happened to them being responsible for this? And they don't even want to talk about that. So there's so many issues that come up that it really just kind of goes out to the people and they decide what's important. This is one of those. What is it that you're deciding is important? Because you're going to have a powerful networking tool, just like Freedom's Phoenix. I mean, we'll kind of push different issues. We're doing the TSA thing now, and there'll be something else after that. But for you, what are some of the things, on your list, your agenda, that you want to make sure that people are getting all riled up about?
Well, I'm definitely concerned about the TSA issue. That really is the hot button thing right now. Moving into the holiday season, the holiday travel season, and there are a lot of distractions. The American people are being assaulted from all corners, and in the past couple of weeks, I've been hit with multiple things that have come to our attention. I mean, the food safety bill. I mean, that is a big threat to to our food supply, and it's going to have more regulation, and it's going to shut down more freedoms. That came out, and then all of a sudden this TSA thing came and hit us smack in the face, and it's very difficult to try to focus on one thing at a time because we're being hit from all corners, and we do run the risk of basically diluting our message because we're on so many fronts. And I mean that I will say right now that is a problem for Restore the Republic as a whole, because we do focus on multiple issues on a broad spectrum of freedoms that are being attacked. I'm concerned about electronic voting. You say you're still voting. Well, I mean, I am concerned with the fact that computers are counting votes, and we don't have a legitimate voting count system in this country that is secure, like the old paper voting.
No, if you're going to be voting, I want it to be accurate. I mean, don't whiz on my back. Tell me it's raining, man. I mean, I just really want to make sure that this computer voting. I've been a big hammering on this since '94. And I ran for Secretary of State in '94 and '06, County Recorder in '08. I mean, this is definitely a big issue, but it got much larger. There is a common theme throughout all of this. And the common theme is, I got my opinion, but what do you think the common theme is? What is it that all of these issues have in common?
All of the issues we're talking about right now, what do they have in common?
Yeah.
Well, they take away the individual's right to make decisions. And those decisions fall into the lap of some bureaucrat or some government agency.
Well,
they think the American people can't handle the decisions, and their big brother and big sister, they can make decisions for us. They make us safe, and that's the overall theme. We're not capable to count our own ballots. We're not capable to dress ourselves to get on the airplane.
Now, I'm with you, brother. It's the freedom to, I don't know, live my life, go unmolested, be able to advocate for whatever I want for myself and my family, and make decisions and be able to contract freely. This security thing, I'm really concerned about, and I'm glad we have a new arrow in our quiver. RTR.org. I just did it. I did it. You go do it. Go over there and do that. Make sure you sign up and get your voice into the matrix. Let's penetrate the matrix and get our message out. Hey, Gary, thanks for coming on, man. I really look forward to you being at the Freedom Summit, freedomsummit.com 2010. Go to freedomsummit.com, get all the information and links to Gary Franchi and RTR.org. We'll be right back here on Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, in just a little bit.